A canvas black with whispers gold, stories untold, secrets unfold, diamonds scatter where the shadows sleep, infinite skies, a promise to keep. Beyond the lights where the stars collide, a universe vast where wonders hide. Above our heads, a cosmic dance, an endless dream, a fleeting galaxies were like painted streams, brushing the edges of our dreams. Planets hum their silent tune, chasing the sun, kissing the moon. We look but don't see, we forget to believe. Beyond the lights where the stars collide, a universe vast where wonders hide. Above our heads, a cosmic dance, an endless dream, a fleeting nebulas bloom in colors untamed. Every spark a fire unclaimed, hidden glory just out of sight. A quiet roar in the endless night. Beyond the lights where the stars collide, a universe vast where wonders hide. Above our heads, a cosmic dance, an endless dream, a fleeting
Hey, welcome, everybody. It is such a nice night in the Benson area and in the Sonoran. I have a globular cluster here in the Benson view, and in the Sonoran view, I've got this one, which is a planetary nebula known as the Helix. More on that in just a minute. But first things first, I want to just finish setting up a few things here, which is great. And so this is going to come down here. I don't know how this is going to play with the other telescope, but we'll try it. We're going to bring this down, and I'm going to shrink myself down a little bit. Alright, let's do this. Yeah, so it's a great night actually out there. I think Ronald is here, and He lives in Benson, and he said it's a beautiful night out in Benson. And I believe it is, actually. So it's really good. This is not M13, Ronald. This is actually a different globular cluster. It is Messier 2, is it? Yes, M2, you can see right there. All right, I'm going to just move my, oops, sorry, I'm going to not just leave that there, but move just me. All right, move me down and shrink me down a little bit. Oops, sorry. Yeah, just bring myself down a little bit here. There we go. I'm shrinking, I'm melting. This globular is not in focus right now. I know that. Okay, and that's intentional. We're still getting some sunlight from the sunset. I didn't know if I was going to stream tonight, so I didn't even mention it to Daryl yet, which is, I wasn't sure I was going to stream, but I decided, you know, I'll give it a shot, you know. Let's see here. Now this guy is where I am right now. What I want to do is I want to go to the same location that we are in the Sonoran telescope here. I want to look at this guy. All right. But I want to look at it from this telescope. And even though globular clusters are fascinating creatures, they really are. Okay, but we're going to come over here and move on to this location. You can see the telescope moving now. And it's obviously a time exposure here, so we're going to just go, there it is, it's right there. And I'm going to just brighten this up a little bit and move it over a little, because I'd like to just get it more in the view, more centered. Now if I were to do this, if there's enough stars for it to solve, it'll tell us it's not, but if I take a single photo, it will be. Alright, so let's do this. Let's move this over here. And I believe we will see it here. So let's just do a quick 10-second shot right now in this scope, just to see if the Helix Nebula is visible right now to us. I mean, it will be, no doubt. I think it's right here. There it is. Yep. Look at the difference in the size between the one here and this one here. So here's our wide field system. See, this system is showing us a massive wide field, and this is a close-up of that same field. Why they look so different? Well, there's a couple things going on, and that is that we have the sunset light still taking our images and putting them at bay a little bit. So we're kind of working through that, but this will be the first object of the night. All right. And you can see in this view, you can see the telescope is looking out into the southern sky. This is the northern wall. This is the eastern wall. This is the southern wall that you can't see here, and this is the western wall when it's facing us. Then this is a different camera. This is the western wall, and that's the northern wall. Okay. All right. So I haven't even started guiding this yet. So let me actually connect our guider entirely, because it's not even connected yet. And we'll see if we can grab a star and do one in earnest now, because we're only doing 10-second shots right now. And this telescope, this one isn't focused yet either, but that's okay. I'll get to that. I'll first do this, do that. Oh, there we go. And now this. And let's grab a guide star. There we are. Okay, so now we're guiding, and what I'm going to do is, it doesn't actually look that bad. Let me try going down to a 1 second view here for just a minute. And I want to try and see if I can focus a little better. By the way, hope all of you are doing well tonight. It's nice to see you guys here. And like I said, we've got 2 buildings open tonight. We have this one, which is in Benson, Arizona. And then we have this one, which is 220 miles away out in the Sonoran Desert. Okay, so here is our guide view. This looks kind of okay for now. Let's try it out, shall we? We're going to do a 45-second exposure here, all right, while guiding. Yeah, there goes a satellite. Good thing we didn't do it now. All right, and we will be stacking that and go into our deep sky mode. So now we have a blank slate. Okay, and that's over here. All right. Meanwhile, over here, we are going to clear this and restart to see if we can get rid of the sunset sky reds that we're seeing in there. I'm glad you guys have joined me tonight. While we're waiting for all this to happen, let's say hi to folks that are here. Michael Hedrick was the first one here. Hey, Michael. Toner Lowe is with us. Sally Forth is with us. And Star Panda, how are you? Sarge finally joined us. Hey, Sarge. I'm glad he's going to be leaving for work soon. Yeah, I know. But hey, you know what? We're doing great. Thank you so much. And we have Rockstar with us as well. Kathy Messick is with us. Kathy, I need a report on your 9.25 inch Celestron, by the way. I want to know what you're doing. Okay. And now she's going, oh no. Okay, Daisy and Zoe Amethyst are here with us. C&D boy, nice to see you. And we have, let's see, Ert Radio. I know him. That's Ronald. He's our guy. Lives out in Benson. He is one of our benefactors for Sky Tour, and he's very, very good to us. And let's see, we have besides Ert Radio, we have Sam S, and we have, it looks like Jim. It looks like Bim Jim. Is that what it says? It says he wants more data about 3i Atlas. Well, we're going to be doing more Atlas streams. We've done 2 so far, I think. And that's been pretty cool. Let me first do this, and there we go. So now here is the other view from the other telescope. All right, and this is this exact same thing as this, but closer. This is a narrow field system. This is a wide field system. So in the narrow field system, we see these. I can see the stars are just a little out of focus. So I am going to refocus. And that's something I'm planning on doing here in just a minute. I just was so excited I had to see it. So that's just me, sorry. Okay, so I will turn off that sharpening. Yeah, this needs to be focused. Alright, now, so we're looking here in Benson. That's east of Tucson, southeast of Tucson. And so we have a really good sky down there. It's very dark. Out in the middle of nowhere. I was looking at the cameras, the security cameras, the other night, and I watched coyotes trotting by the building, which is, that happens here too. We also have bears trotting by our house here as well. And that's kind of fun because I'm not out there. If I was out there, I'd have a problem, And we also have North Carolina native. Hey man, how are you? Nice to see you. Autopilot is with us. Good evening. Good to have you back, man. good to see you. Hang out with us, you know. And this is the early crew, and we will certainly get more for sure. And let's see, look here. Okay, I'm reading comments here. Okay, Kathy Messick says the weather has taken a turn here in Seattle. Haven't had the opportunity to stargaze. Yeah, sorry about that. If only you could stargaze raindrops, you'd be good. But obviously you can't. I know. Okay, let's see now. I'm going to do one thing here. I wanted to get started as soon as possible so that I could have you guys join me, because it's only 9:50 p.m. here, and that means we have some time, which I really like. Here we go. All right, let me get this straightened out too. Over here, okay, well, it's not that bad. I mean, I am blocking my cameras, but that's okay. You can kind of see them through here. So that's the Sonoran scope. All right, so, and actually I'm noticing that we still have a red glow in there. That's a little better. This red glow here is part of this that's actually there. Okay. All right, and all right, now let's see here. You'll notice that this view, it's at the same orientation as this view. Okay, it goes up here and sort of opens up to the right here, and in this one it's doing the same thing. It's coming out and opening up to the right. That blue star in there is a white dwarf. White dwarfs are the end state of stars, kind of like the sun, right? And these stars are no longer doing fusion, so they're no longer doing anything that stars do other than just have a lot of latent heat that it's giving off little by little. And a white dwarf will cool down eventually to a black dwarf. The fact is, we don't know of any. Certainly we wouldn't be able to see them except by their gravity, but I don't believe we've actually seen any black dwarfs, you know. All right, yeah, we're getting some wind in Benson, so that's actually causing us to do that. That's pretty though, isn't it? You can actually see some nice detail in here. Let's come back to our histogram here. All right, and let's do a little playing. Let's now pull back the color and come to here. Notice this. This is what the helix looked like for many years to astronomers. That's what they saw, because all they could do was take black and white photographs of it. Isn't that wild? And then as time went on, they started getting color, and now we have full color. We can see the teal blue of the doubly ionized oxygen that leaves this emission. All right, and then we have the hydrogen, which leaves this red emission. And you know, hydrogen's the most prominent element, the most common element in the entire universe. Then you have helium, and the next one is oxygen, and after that you have carbon. So we have a major these top four, and we're made of carbon, so it stands to reason that carbon's a really important element in the universe, right? And most life is probably made of carbon, in my view. And I've told you this 1,000 times. I'm a carbon bigot. Yes, okay, sorry. That's right. I have something against the other elements. They can't support life. Now, coming over to the Sonoran scope for a minute, we can zoom in to the same level as the Benson scope, just to give you an idea the difference. So here you'll see this level we're zoomed into here, and now if we go back to the Benson scope to the same zoom level, right, one thing you'll notice is that there's some details in here, down here, right around here, this modeling in here, this stuff here, this detail. That's stuff that you don't really see in the other view. And the other view, may remind you, you notice it's got a little bit more noise in it, okay, but you don't see the same levels of detail because this telescope is wide field and we're zooming in, so we're actually spreading out the pixels. there's fewer pixels holding the image together in this telescope than in this telescope. That's why in this telescope it kind of looks like it's a little bit fuzzy and mottled here, and in this telescope it actually looks much smoother, and that's because we have many more pixels basically in the square of the field than we do in this field here. All right, so that said, the wide field system has its place, and that place is with vast tracts of nebula, not with things like this right here. All right, okay, Donald Kunzer's with us. Hey, Water Rat's with us. That's Matt. Matt used to work here in FX Models with me. He has an honorary spot here if he wants to come back and work with us. He doesn't live very far away. Matt, I just 3D printed a part for somebody today on our larger system. It's cool. So, I mean, almost anything you can think of in your mind, we can make. It's just so cool. I'm gonna have a sip of Thai tea. Oh, gosh, that's so good. I can't believe how much I like that tea. Now, in this particular view, we have 12 exposures that we've taken, okay? And you'll notice how in this amount of time, which is a 45-second exposure times 12 exposures, that adds up to 9 minutes and 0 seconds of time that we've been taking pictures overall. But when we come to this one, it's a different story. See, in this one, we've been taking images. We took 25 stacked images so far, not 13 like the other one, or 12 like the other one. And in this one, you'll notice that it still looks grainy. It's like, wait a minute, what's going on? Shouldn't it be smoothed out? Well, this grain here that we're seeing represents half of the grain of image that is only 12 exposures, because you double the amount of frames that you stack, and that halves the amount of noise. So we have a lot of noise in here, but that goes away if we process it a little bit. We can process some of it away, all right, like this, or make it brighter. And if we make it a little bit brighter, you can start to see noise. Now we can, if we over process this, you see it'll go explosively large, and you can see the faint detail around the outside of this. Okay, if we come over to the other telescope and do that same thing, all right, you'll notice that it doesn't get overwhelmed by the noise. It's actually pretty good with less exposures. That's because we're using a longer focal length. Okay, this focal length here is f1.8. If you know cameras, you know that means that the camera is photographically very, very fast. And this one is not. This one is f7. So it means that it's slower photographically, and so we take longer exposures to make up for it. And those longer exposures will generate less random noise over time. So that's why a longer exposure is better than a really short bunch of exposures. Nicely done, tell you. So I can take that back down now. And this is our midline here. There's another line far to the right, but this is the middle line of our data. And this, okay, I'm sorry, that's not the midline. I apologize. That is that's the white level. That goes all the way over to the right. Oh, you made a mistake. Okay, this is our mid level, and I have to zoom so you can see it better. There we go. So this is the dark level. Now, if I move this way in, you'll notice that it gets really, really dark. Okay, as I back out, you'll say, "Ooh, that's interesting. Wow, that's cool. Look at that." But what's good about these moments is you can actually see detail in here when you process it like this dynamically that you don't get when you look at the whole picture like coming out here. All right, so it's helpful to look at these in a different perspective when we work with these curves like this. Okay, and the midline, and we pull it away and the image gets dimmer and softer a little bit, but sometimes we need that to see the center. If we move in this way, okay, now we're going to be pushing, meaning we're going to try and pull out every little detail we can get, but it's going to induce a lot of noise, and that's the thing we don't want. So putting it right about here for now is good. I'll color correct it. All right, and you can see the blue of the teal blue of the doubly ionized oxygen right there, and the red hydrogen. Same thing we have in this other view, right? And to see that a little better, what we can do is back off that curve and pull this midline in a little bit. There we go. So we pull the midline in, taking that curve. Okay. You can see we have a little bit of a guiding error out here. So this is the Sonoran telescope. Sounds like I'm saying snoring. Sonoran. And that one has a little bit of a guiding error. So we're getting some wind out there. And then in the Benson scope, it's looking pretty nice out here. Really pretty. Alright, so that is the Helix Nebula. Now if I were to try to annotate that, it may know what it is and annotate it. Okay, and there it is. It says Helix Nebula, Planetary Nebula. Okay, and so what we do is make that the target name. Okay, and I'll save it with annotations to that directory. Now if you want to know where all this is, all you have to do is go to skytourlive.org and scroll down, and you can see all of our data, because there's a section that says I want to see cool pictures, and so it'll take you to the cool pictures. You read the instructions how you see all of the data we have out there. Okay, now let's I'm gonna get rid of that guy. I will save this. We're at 20 exposures on this. That's nice. And we'll save exactly as seen. Okay, here. Let's go over the Sonoran. And let's actually title this one too. Let's see if it will identify this as well. Probably will, and it does. So we're going to say Helix Nebula. We're going to set the target name. Okay. And we're going to save the image. There it goes. It's saved. And then we can come over and do the same thing we did for the other telescope. All right. And by the way, just so you know, we are zoomed way in on this. See? So we're zoomed way in. All right. So we save this, and we're going to save it exactly as seen, because we're going to be showing you the close-ups and the wide field views of the same objects. Really cool. And there's one we're going to do tonight, which I think you're going to really like. Go ahead, Mark. Tell them what it is. No, I'm not going to tell them what it is. Yeah, I will. I'll tell you what it is in just a minute. All right. So, that said, there we are. And we're good here. Now, we can look at Saturn, but I want to critically focus first. So to critically focus, we're going to take the telescope up into the summer Milky Way, where we can find lots of stars. All right, so we're going to come up here. Right there, we're going to say that. Excuse me. All right, telescope's going to head up to the northwest. Okay, and we're done with this. All right. There we go. All right, we have lots of stars here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a focus run after the satellite passes. That's a Starlink satellite. You can't see that because I'm not there. Now you can. All right. And that's interesting because that's probably, in this view, that's probably the same Starlink satellite that we saw in this other view just now. Kind of interesting. They're 200 miles apart, so we could actually, if we caught the satellite trail, this satellite trail here, if we caught that trail and then we looked in here and saw the satellite trail, if we could figure out where that satellite trail was relative to that nebula we just saw, well, we'd be able to calculate the altitude of the satellites based on the differences in the sky separation. That'd be kind of cool. All right, so let's do this. Let's do a focus run now. Temperature out in the Benson Dome is 15 Celsius, 14.9 Celsius now. Okay. All right, and let's do this. Getting ready. Okay. All right, let's try it. It'll say too few stars. Yeah, because it's got to go a little bit to the negative a bit. That's actually pretty good. Okay. Okay, so let's reset. I think this is going to deliver it, so let's try this. All right, we're going to go negative here and do that. Meanwhile, while it's doing its focus run, we can come over here and do the final color correction. Do the final color. And then do a value thing like that. Change that around. And now what we'll do is move that in, move that down. Okay. And we'll save it. And save it exactly as seen. And we're good. All right. And that's with a good number of those stacked. All right, so that's good. All right, so let's come out of here and go back to our low light mode in this telescope, wide field system. All right, and there we go. You can see stars. And let's look for something interesting. Let's come over here and let's back out a little bit. There's our, okay, meanwhile, we've got a focus over here. So I'll set the best focus and let it do that. All right. And then once it does that, we can get rid of the focus on this one because we've got it. That's excellent. Got good focus for 15 Celsius, 14.9 Celsius out in the building. That's good. All right. And let's go back to this now. And let's take a look at a few other things. Let's see. Let's come to here. There's a couple places I want to go with you. I want to show you. And I'm wondering if I can do that easily. Oh, you know what? I think I can. Yeah, I think I can. We're going to do this right now. We're going to go to the Andromeda Galaxy. You watch the telescope now. Well, you can't see the telescope now because I'm in the way. Well, you can. It's right here. And the telescope is starting to look up and away. It's going to be almost to the zenith. And we should see it. There it is. There's the Andromeda Galaxy, the nucleus. And what we're going to do is bring the telescope over. Oh, wow. That went the wrong way. That's okay. I just realized what I did. Different telescope. All right, let's zoom in on this. Okay. And let's go there again. And it'll bring us back to the Andromeda Galaxy. All right. There we go. Okay. All right. Speed. All right. Now let's see if we got it. Let's go west. Yep. Okay. Andromeda is very nicely angled tonight for our view in this telescope. And this is going to show you what wide field telescopes are good at. All right. And then we'll do a similar view with the other scope. And you'll notice the difference because we close in on some of the details in the Andromeda Galaxy. All right, so here we go. Here's the other galaxy right there. These two are the companion galaxies. I wanted to get those in a little more, and this will be just out of the view at the bottom. Okay, all right, so now we'll wait for a guide star, and our system will be picking a guide star here. You'll see over here. Okay, it's going to be doing it when I go here. All right. Okay, we're guiding. All right, so now I will do a 25-second shot of this galaxy right now. All right. That blue color is artificial. It's not really blue. All right, so now it'll come in after 25 seconds. Meanwhile, in the other telescope, we're all focused, and I'm going to pick the same target. And it should be right here. So we're going to head up to that as well. And you'll watch the telescope moving up there. All right, here it comes. All right, and let's see where we are. Okay. We're gonna do alright, we're gonna stop it there. And we're gonna do tools, and we're going to find our place, and I couldn't find it. Why couldn't it find it? Oh, I probably gotta take an exposure. Okay, that's fine. I will do that. All right. So, I'm watching it. I'm watching what's going on here on the screen. I'm not. There shouldn't be any movement. It should be locked on. But it tells me we probably got some wind. What is going on down there? Wait a minute. That's better. I think my Stellarium thing was off, but it seems like it knows where it is. That was weird. It was showing me the moon, but the moon isn't out yet. Okay, let's do this. Let's take an exposure. We'll do 10 seconds. All right, and then we will figure out where we are in the sky and have the telescope go to the... Oh, well, okay, I guess you can do that too. We got wind, huh? All right, well, let's see. Maybe I've got to just do this. Yeah, let's do this. Let's tell it to guide on this. All right. Okay, so now we should be able to do this and tell it to plate solve, which it did. And it's going to go 0.3 degrees to get to what we want, which is the Andromeda Galaxy. And so we will go back to a 1 second view. There it is. It's in the view. And so now I will bring that down in here. And you will see the difference in how this telescope shows the Andromeda Galaxy versus how the other one shows the Andromeda Galaxy. And you may find it impressive. You may not. Well, yeah, you will. You'll like it. Hey, Marianne Robb is with us. How you doing, Marianne? We know her. Yeah. So tonight for Marianne, who is our chief financial officer for our nonprofit, we are looking at this telescope, which is our Benson telescope, and then we have this one. And this is our Andromeda Galaxy image in our other system. Ta-da! Look at that. Now that's a galaxy, right? That's a galaxy. So there is Messier 110, okay, and this is Messier 32. This is, of course, Messier 31, and you can see these beautiful dark lines. This is what wide field systems are for. Is for this kind of view. Look at that. Look at all the detail, and it still goes outside the view. Okay, so let's come back to Benson here for a minute, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you with the Benson scope. I'm going to show you how it looks when we do a view here. So first, let's go and make sure we have a guide star. So let's do that. We're right now. Okay. And grab a guide star. That's a faint guide star. Maybe it'll work. Alright. We'll try that. Alright, and now we're going to do a 35-second photo here. Alright, and we'll stack it. So we'll go out and back into our deep sky mode. Meanwhile, while that's happening, let's go check out the Sonoran scope. Wow, look at that. This is beautiful. This is again why it's such a showcase to let me look at I just can't get enough of this. It's really beautiful. In fact, what we'll do is let's let me bring that down below, and let's increase this size. Oh, look at that. Wow. That's really pretty. Really, really pretty. That's just, you know, you have to admit that is a beautiful, beautiful scene. You know? Wow. Just beautiful. Wow, that's just yeah. And just to point out what we see with the other telescope. Okay, I want you to notice this band right here. See that dark band right there? Okay, yeah, that dark band. Okay, that dark band, which you're seeing right here. Okay, that band. I want you to look in just a second. Ready? All right, let's go over here. That dark band is right here. Okay, that's the dark band. Notice that we're seeing a lot more detail in it, but we're not seeing as much of the galaxy as we do when we look at here. Okay, here we see the entire expanse of the galaxy, but this tiny little piece right here, our field of view is like this big. It's a very, very tiny amount in here. So when we come here, we see that right there. This little bit is that little piece that's curving around here. Right here. That's this little piece right here. When we look here. That's something. That's neat. Let's stick with this for just a minute. And let's darken it up a bit. Let's color correct a little better. There we go. Now what's nice about this telescope is the narrower field scope shows us things inside the galaxy that we wouldn't normally see. Okay, and I'll give you an example here in a minute. This is Messier 31. We'll just call it that. Oops, 31. What are you doing? Oh, we got a shift state problem. There we go. Messier 31. Okay, and we have 5 images here. We'll save them. Save them exactly as seen, as I've mentioned before. Okay, so this is just below the nucleus. It's the same location as this area right here. Okay, that's where we're looking right there. You know, that's very nice. Okay, so now, as an example, we could basically say, if we wanted to, we could say that this area that we're looking in is probably, I'd have to say what now? I'd have to say about like this. It's a square field of view. So what's that? All right, just a little bit like that. So that's kind of what this is. A little bit lower, you know. But that's what we got. That's what we're looking at. And so that's the size of the field. So you can imagine if we were to do a mosaic, it'd be a lot of photographs just to get this, you know. Now in this one, when you look at this Messier 110 up here, you see not a whole lot of detail. There's a subtle indicator of maybe a little bit of dark dust in there, but it's not there. You know, it's not visible. But in this telescope, in the Benson telescope, it would be visible. We would see a lot of dust in there. So let's save this again. Save it as seen. And now what we're going to do is something interesting. We're going to go down to the lower quadrant of this galaxy. And we're going to look at an area in the galaxy that's actually a really interesting location. I'll tell you why. So we're going to bring it down. All right. So we're going to bring this down here. Okay. Okay. All right. And then I'm going to go over a little. I think it's sort of in this region. I'll have to check. Let me do a short exposure. Actually, let me just go look here. See where it thinks we are. Yeah, I'm gonna go down to there. Okay. Just a sec. Let me do this again here. Okay, so the view is upside down from where we are because this telescope's on a different kind of mount, and that's what we expect. Let's see. Okay, where'd that go? That's better. Okay. Okay. So, where I want to take us is down here. So I'm going to just tell it to go here. First of all, let's get our field of view. All right. And then move our field of view down to here. I want to show you that bright knot of blue stars. All right. So we'll do that now. I'm telling the telescope to go just to that spot. All right. And let's see if it captured it. Let's just do a 10-second photo. See if we're in the right spot. Meanwhile, over here, we continue to add frames. We're up to, let's see what frames, 32. Yeah, there's our, this is our area that we want to see right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the guiding going. We're going to start this, stop that, set the guiding, and pick a star. I knew it was going to pick that one. That's the one I wanted. Okay. And now we're going to do a 45-second photo of this area. All right. And we'll go into our live stack and go into our low light mode. So this is our deep sky mode, I mean. All right. So now, while that's coming in, the area that we're going to is the area right here, which you can't really see quite yet. But when you zoom in on this, okay, you'll see now the beauty of the other type of scope that we have, the narrow field. This is sort of a bluish blob. See it? Okay. So that bluish blob is going to look a little different when we look at it in the narrow field scope. Right, beautiful dark lanes, again, something that we see very easily with the wide field system. Okay. And I can see that I need to refocus too. Here is the images that came in. It's not quite right. We want to fix those because these, you can almost see individual stars in here. All right, so I'm going to go to the 1 second mode here for a second. I might be able to do this manually. Let's try this. All right, let me try this. Okay, I think that helped. Okay, so now we're going to do this again. We're going to do 45 seconds and go into our stack mode again. And we'll clear this one. We should have better focus now. So we're looking now in this lower part of the galaxy. This galaxy is 2.4 million light years away. So what we're seeing here is light that has come from these stars in this region over a distance of 2.4 million light years, and it's taken 2.4 million years to get here. I want to say hi to Jack Astrophoto. How you doing, man? And I want to say hi to Alicia Vieras. Hi, Alicia. How are you? All right, and yeah, I still do a critical focus. It's my guess wasn't quite right. A little more. Let's see if I can find a good focus candidate nearby. I can if I move away, but oh, maybe if I just come up here. Let's try that. We'll go up there and see. So let's take this out of here and go back here. And go there. Okay. Now we can focus. All right. Oh, actually that looks pretty good. I'm going to risk it. I'll say that looks pretty good. All right. So back down to our area here. You got to see this and tell you why. It's a very important region in this galaxy. Very important region. Okay, so we're going to go there again. Zinga. Okay. Okay, now let's let it stabilize. Let's go back to guiding in here. And pick a star, which it's going to pick that one because it's the only one to use right now in this view. All right, now let's go and do our 45-second shot. Hey folks, this is what astronomy is all about. Find the best photo, you know. Meanwhile, while that's happening, let's go check out Sonoran Desert 1, and let's actually do some processing here. And what we're going to do is take our black level, climb the curve a little bit more. It's pretty high up there. Yeah. And let's actually drag this down just a bit. You can see the blue of the young hot stars in the disk of the galaxy where the spiral arms are. Over there. You can see the yellowish stars here, and down here. All right, you can see this fuzzy blue. That fuzzy blue thing again. That is what's called an OB association. That's hot O and B stars. The hottest stars in the universe are the O-type stars. other than some Wolf-Rayet stars, a very specific type of star. And so when they're born in large clusters like this, they have incredibly powerful stellar winds, and so they're clearing the whole area around them in this galaxy by a tremendous amount. And as an example of how that looks, it looks like this. Okay, because here is a much better image. You can see that region right here. You can see individual stars in here. Now, what I'm going to do is go into the live stack, and in the live stack now, when we capture, we'll start capturing it and making clearer and clearer images of it. So our wide field system shows us some portion of it, right? But then our narrow field system is going to show us some detail. You're going to see all these things much more detailed. And in the wide field system, you can see a few nebulae in here. Like here's a big nebula in here. That's like a giant, red hydrogen emission nebula in the galaxy, a stellar nursery, for instance. Really, really cool. In this scope here, we are looking at the same location as in this region down here, okay, but a much closer version of it, close up. And you can see the individual stars in here. Now let's actually punch this up a little bit. Now we only have one frame in here right now. All right, the second frame is going to cut the amount of noise we see in half, and that's coming in 4 seconds. All right, so 2, 1, 0, and boom. The second one comes in, and now look, the noise has been reduced, and you can start to see these individual stars from 2.4 million light years away. It's really impressive to see these. All right. And this is the region, in fact, that's the most active in the galaxy when you see things like this. All right, so I'm going to pull this down artificially right about there. Yeah, so that's pretty. Now we climb this curve a little bit more, increase the contrast. You can see dark lanes here, all stuff that is completely elusive. Over in this image, you can see only the coarsest of dark lanes, but you can't see the detail like we can see in this image here. We're going to see more and more now. Again, we only have 3 frames now. As we climb and get more frames, this is going to become even more and more obvious. We're getting a little bit of a green cast to this. And I'm not sure if it's being fooled by, might be getting fooled by this. All right. Boy, this is just, it's crazy. But you can see how blue those stars are. Look at how blue they are. Now, if we were anywhere near these stars, it would be the death of our planet. It would strip the atmosphere off of our planet. It would wipe us out if a cluster like this formed anywhere near us. If we were out here, out here, out here, if we had a dark nebula around us protecting us, we might have a chance. But the ultraviolet radiation coming from this collective is immense. And we would not, wouldn't get away easily, I can tell you that. It'd be really, really difficult to get away easily from this. Just crazy. We'll let that develop a little more. amazing to think that we're looking at stars that are 2.4 million years distant from us in time and distance. And the thing that's neat about this is that these hot O stars and B stars, some of those are definitely not there now. At this instant in time, there are some of those that are not there anymore, because O stars only last a few million years. The biggest stars last, a million years or less. And so, if any of these are these massive, giant stars, guaranteed they're not there anymore. And we're looking at a place that they once occupied, because the light train with their information is still coming toward us. But once that light reaches us, we'll see the supernova. And this is a good place to watch for supernovae in the Andromeda Galaxy. Watch this spot. And there are people watching this location every single day. Not just this one, but elsewhere as well. Oh yeah, this is something. Yeah, really pretty. And very poignant too, because we're looking at these stars and looking at the fact that right now they're still there, but they may not be there. May not be there now. I find that to be the most interesting part. All right. So you can see now how this cluster of stars is starting to resolve itself, see? That is absolutely incredible. Now stars like this one, and this one, and this one, that one, etc. Those are all up here in our foreground. Those are in our galaxy. And we're seeing through them to these distant stars. We're seeing star clouds. This is not clouds of gas and dust. This is clouds of stars. So far that only the largest ones can be kind of resolved as a tight cluster. Absolutely interesting. Now, on the Sonoran scope, we're up to 64 photos that we stacked over here. Right, so we've got about 64 of this part of the Andromeda Galaxy. We can zoom out and show you that we're actually capturing the whole galaxy. See that? This is an amplifier glow. That's not a star outside the shot or something. All right. And we're looking at this one little spot with the Benson scope right now. And there's more of them. There's more spots like that here. Here's the older stars, what we call the population 2 stars. And these, you can see these beautiful dark dust lanes in the galaxy. These came from countless supernovae from stars like these here that have gone supernova and littered the heavens with dust from their outer atmospheres and dust that was made after they obliterated themselves. Absolutely incredible. This actually let me get rid of that. I just did something you don't want to do. Uh-oh. That wasn't good. Okay, we're good. I was going to say, this thing here, okay, is known as NGC 206. And it is a hot OB association, hot cluster of stars. So that's what this is. So we're gonna call this up here. We're gonna call it NGC 206. It actually has its own object in another galaxy, it's not just the galaxy that's the object, it's the stuff within the galaxy that's actually the object as well, which is cool. All right. Okay, so we'll save annotations. So we save that. Okay, and then we can get rid of this and save this. And save exactly as seen. We've got a dozen saved here. So that's NGC 206, guys. And that is this guy right down here from our wide field system. You're seeing it here. All right. Now, you see this right here? I want to show you that. So let's zoom in on that. All right. So in the wide field system, you can see a little detail in there, right? But not that much. So over here in Benson, we're going to just be done with this guy right now. And let's go look at that elliptical galaxy. Elliptical galaxies tend to be boring, but I will say this one had some surprises, which I did not expect. So we're gonna run up to this one now and check it out. You know, just also tell it to stop this. All right. Let's see. I think it's right here. I believe that's it right there. So let me move it up into the view a little more. You can almost see it right here. Okay. So now let's guide on this, because like I said, I do believe that's it. And I want you to see how this looks with this particular telescope, because it's actually quite the thing. It's got a lot more detail in it. Okay, so let's guide here. We're guiding just fine. Again, we're on Messier 110 up here, as seen in the Benson scope, so it's right here. Let's do a 45-second shot of this. All right. I have to tell you, it's like I'm amazed at how I feel really lucky, because we have two telescopes that we can use, a wide field and narrow field. Now, they could have been in the same building. In fact, they eventually may be. But we also are working on that third spectrographic system, so we'll be able to look at galaxies like this and look at how they're made, which is really cool. Let's add the live stack in here and minimize this. I'm pretty convinced it's right here. There it is. All right. So it is there. So as we get more images in this stack, I'm gonna have you notice something. You're gonna start to see, like right already, you can start to see there's a dark dust lane here. There's another one here, around here. There's a lot of weird stuff going on in this galaxy that we don't get to see when we see it from the wide field view. This is like viewing it from, you know, like, I don't know, 50 miles away, and this is like viewing it from 3 miles away. So it's actually quite a different set of views. Okay, so come through here, back that out a little, back that off our slope. All right, and let's see if we can get the green tint taken care of. Again, we used to look at them like this, in black and white. And then we would always look at them in black and white, but like this as well. So it would actually be like this. This was what I was used to with Messier 110. And if you look, we zoom in, you can see really subtle detail in here, dark lanes and stuff. This dark dust. Now, why is that important? It's important because we thought for a long time that these types of galaxies, which are called elliptical galaxies, no spiral arm structure, also no gas and no dust. They typically don't have dust lanes like the Andromeda Galaxy, like we see here. You know, the Andromeda Galaxy has these beautiful dust lanes, all right, but these galaxies typically don't have them, all right. And another one of those ellipticals is right here, and look, it just looks like a fuzzy dot, and that's because it's just a fuzzy ball of stars. Okay, now how do they form and why do they form? Well, believe it or not, that's still kind of a mystery. We don't really know yet. We have some ideas, but the fact is they do form. And this one here, as we look at it, and we get now we have 4 frames, we can see that this is actually getting some more detail in it, and that's the most important thing here. We're seeing more detail. Here we are. See how that dust, now you can see it sort of is brownish. It's actually looking better. Look at that. Totally elusive in the other image of the Andromeda Galaxy from this telescope. So again, pointing out why this particular telescope is better at certain things than the wide field telescope. We have an image artifact here. It looks like a fingerprint. That's not actually part of the galaxy. That's just an image artifact. It'll go away when I zoom out. Look at that. So let's check out comments. Let's see if anybody has any comments. Okay. Donald Kunzer asked earlier. Yes, that was that patch of blue stars we're looking at. I hope I was clear about that, Donald. Yeah. And C&D Boy there is putting up our links, man. You're very helpful. Thank you so much for doing that. Yep. And then let's see. Oh, Richard McFarland, I missed your hi. Hello there. How are you, Richard? Hope you're still listening and watching. It's good to have you with us. Donald Kunzer asks if astronomers have found a black hole at the core of the Andromeda Galaxy. Now that's a good question. We know we've got one here at our galaxy. It's a definite supermassive black hole here, without a doubt. You know, and I think that there's going to be one at the center of Messier 31 as well. Yes, sir. There's actually strong evidence, Donald, that there is a supermassive black hole at the center of the Andromeda Galaxy. Now, here we call the center black hole of our galaxy Sagittarius A star, A asterisk. Well, this is M31 asterisk. Okay, that's how it's designated. And again, it is definitely showing strong evidence. Okay, and looking at what's called stellar dynamics, the study of stellar motions in galaxies, we see that there are plenty of stars moving in such a way that they have to be moving around a massive central black hole. and moving at very high speeds too. That's important too. The Hubble Space Telescope has also done some work on Messier 31, looking for the same type of motions, and it's found them. And so, and there's actually in the center of our galaxy, remember that 10-year study which showed stars whipping around the black hole? Well, they found the same thing with the Hubble in the Andromeda Galaxy. So there is a central black hole there as well. Okay, and there's blue stars down there that are doing that. So yes, there is definitely a black hole at the center. The evidence is strong, and it's compelling, you know. So now we're at 10 images here, as you can see down there. And as you can see now, look, that patch of dust in this galaxy is now clear. This one is clear. I think that's pretty incredible. The nucleus still looks like a star. It's not a star. That's an extremely compact group of stars in the middle. And it gets much less dense as those move out. So these stars are orbiting this black hole, possibly orbiting a black hole in here as well. I'm not sure. But Messier 110 might actually have a black hole as well. You know? All right, so that's 11. We'll go to 12 with this one, I think. Now, there were studies of Messier 110, by the way, this guy right here, and they don't seem to indicate there's a black hole there, but we do have this dust right here. Look at that brown dust right there. That's incredible. And then we have this long, snaky line of black dust right here. See that? That's cool. Something unexpected. So again, these galaxies are not supposed to have a lot of dust in them, and they don't generally have dust. So when we see it, it's odd. Yep. All right, I'm going to change the name on this one. That's Messier 110. Save annotations. And then we can save it exactly as seen. So you can download the ping file so you can see this if you want, exactly like that. Very impressed with this camera and telescope combination. Okay, and there we are. So we are now going to look at something different, and that something will be something that I looked at the other night, which I think you may like. It's only 11 p.m. or so here. So let's do this. Let's go see if we can grab the old tadpoles. Let's grab the tadpoles, shall we? And let's do that. Alright, so the telescope is going to have to zip around to look toward the northeast, which is where it's going now. And it's almost to about where it should be. A little more. Here we go. Very nice. Now, are they here? Let's find out. We're going to just do a quick 10-second photo. Actually, I don't even have to. What I can do is I can probably just confirm my location. You always confirm. Yeah, it'll have it. And yeah, okay, so it's going to move a little bit. All right. So we're at a location now where these tadpoles are. What are the tadpoles in space? I'm going to show you. All right, we're also going to show you in the other telescope as well. All right, so let's wait a sec for this to do its thing. There we go. Okay, so 10-second shot. Let's try this and see what we got. I want to see tadpoles. You might get a hint of them in 10 seconds. I don't know. Let's go see. Let's go look at this. Because it's a feature within another nebula. All right. Okay. Aha. Okay. Yeah, it's here. Not where we're initially thinking. These are the tadpoles. This is the overall location, but those are the feature we're looking for. So we're going to actually go up to that location. Right there. All right. Yeah. Yep, I know. It's a mess. But let's see. Yeah, that's pretty. Now, when you get these dragged out images, you actually see the colors of the stars much easier. All right. So I'm taking a 10-second shot, so this next one will be straight. There they are. Boom. These are the tadpoles. You're going to love seeing these. Now, I'm going to... That's actually a good position for them. So what I'm going to do is start right in with the live stack, but we're going to actually do... Yeah, we're not doing that. Okay, we're going to actually do a 45-second photo of these. All right, and you'll like these. These are going to be cool. All right. Meanwhile, on the other side of the world, we're still doing this. And what we can do is look here and say, well, we've got 100 images of the Andromeda Galaxy. That's cool as it is. So we're going to now save exactly as seen. And we're going to get out of this. We're going to redock this, get out of this, go back to our low light mode. And in low light mode, we're going to go and check out the same object we're looking at here. All right, and these are the tadpoles. All right, and we're going to go to the tadpoles. All right, here they go. Now, I think I should be able to... Yeah, 53. I should be able to see those here. All right, and we're going to go again to these guys. This is where we're going. So let's bring in this guy here. And let's actually do this. Give me the tadpoles again. Here we are. We're in the letter Y cluster. And then we're going to come down here, right? And look here. So we're going to just come down to this location. I'll do this. Let's just say go to that star, because that'd be fine. And so now the telescope is going to run over to that star. It's going to head to the northeast. Look up there. There it goes. And you should be looking at him right about now. Okay. The camera's a little behind. Okay, so now you're going to see what we're looking at here. Let's make sure that we're in the same location. All right, let's do a solve here for this location. Yeah, that's those guys. Okay. All right, I'm thinking that the tadpoles are probably going to be right here. So I'm going to move us westward a little bit. All right. Okay, there we go. Pop Culture Minefield. Gary Cassell is with us. World famous animator. How you doing, man? Wow. Hey, was on my way to bed and saw this stream, so I wanted to pop in and say hi. Hey, man. Yeah, we're looking at tadpoles. We're looking at galaxies. We're looking at dust in the galaxies. We're looking at 2.4 million year old light. Yeah, man. We got it all. We got it all. All right. Now I'm going to... But hey, I hope you're doing well, Gary. Nice to see you, man. See, Sally's happy you're here, Gary. She likes your work. Okay, let's start a. We are guiding right now. Yep. So let's go and do a 25-second shot of this. All right. Now I did a placeholder for this one, so it's not accurate at all. And what I'm going to do is start a guiding process here. So let's grab a guide star. All right, grab a guide star. There we go. All right, now we're guiding on a really good star. That's a perfect star. Okay, see that nice peak? You want to see those. Okay, meanwhile, let's do this now. We're going to clear this because it's oddly a bad image. All right. So there's our tadpoles. Okay, two beautiful little wisps of hydrogen gas. Okay, trailing behind from the bright star cluster. And that bright star cluster has caused them to illuminate. Now this telescope's view is not, because it's upside down and flipped around, the other telescope's upside down too. So everything is upside down. So they're not going to be exactly the same. All right. But they do look pretty cool. And we'll let those percolate. I can see that we got some wind out there. So I'm going to clear this one more time. Let the next one come in. So it comes in right now. So let's see what we got. Much better. Okay, those are round stars. Now let's come back over here to the Sonoran telescope, and these are our tadpoles here. Again, different orientation because we're not quite in the same. We're not using the same kind of mount. We're not using the same kind of angle that we're looking at the tadpoles with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring these down. So I'm going to quickly jump in here and do our 1 second shot here. All right. There we go. And then I will bring them down by moving the telescope up. Alright, so doing this. Alright, so now the tadpoles are right here. You can almost see them there. And I'm going to head east a little bit to bring that into the center. Okay, put that cluster just to the right of center. There we go. Okay. So here are the tadpoles. You can see them there. Alright. Nice. Alright, so now it's locked on. So that's what we want. So now we're going to do a... we're going to wait for our guide stars. Looks like they're in already. Guide stars are in. You can pick them up anytime after 5. Alright, and then... oops, 45 seconds. I don't want to do that. Alright, and now let's see. Let's do this. Alright. Alright, so now we're going to do a 45-second photo of this. And we'll do that by dropping out of our low light mode and going into our deep sky mode. Gary Cassell says, I'm sleeping to classic episodes of Kolchak Night Stalker. Oh, remember that little Instamatic camera he had? You know, I just thought that was funny. Oh my gosh. That was a great show. Kolchak the Night Stalker. It tells you, if you know that show, that tells you a little bit about Gary Cassell. Meanwhile, while we're waiting for this image to come in, let's take a look at this image. Now, here is our beautiful tadpoles. And let me color correct a little bit. All right, helps isolate them. Look at that. Okay, now we have some blue reflection nebula here. We have some brown dust. Look at all that. And then we have some hydrogen emission nebulae over here. Isn't that something? That's really, really pretty. Let's see if we can... we got 5 images taken. Let's darken up and bring some contrast. And let's go to our mid-level and try to increase some data. Look at that. That's pretty cool. Then I'll do another... color correction. Wow, that's neat. Okay. And now, in the wide field system, I think you'd like to see what the wide field system is showing us for these. All right, and so I will bring you over there now. Okay, so here's the wide field view. Here are the tadpoles. Okay, here is the cluster we're looking at right there, and the nebula here, and this is a region. This is okay. I added that by accident. This is a stellar nursery with a dark cloud in here, a dark cloud of gas and dust, and the tadpoles are sitting here like this, and you can see that this one looks like it has maybe 2 stars there. Well, we know it does, because when we come back and look again, it's flipped around, we can see those 2 stars in the end right there, and for all we know, those are responsible for causing this thing to light up. All right, so it's neat to see this wide field view and then this narrow field view with all this more detail. Look at the detail in this cloud. Okay, look at how much detail we see in this, and it's only getting better. It's only 7 images stacked so far, you know, and that's pretty cool. Now, I've also started a policy of using lower gain. I'm at 200 tonight, but I took some beautiful pictures in the constellation Orion yesterday, and I think it'll be high enough to do our last image for the night, to actually do one of the objects there that is just a standout beautiful object. And you'll see. You may agree, you may not, but you will. All right, let's just bring that dark up to get maximum contrast. So there you go. Michael Hendrick has a question. We should have just asked the question, because now that you're saying you have a question, well, you're saying, can I ask a question? Well, that is your question. I'm just kidding. Go ahead. Thai tea. I like that. Thai, not chai. Thai. When will those stars wink on for the first time? Which stars, Michael? If you can see them, they've already winked on. If you're talking about stars that may be forming inside the nebula, like this nebula here, okay, then there may be stars forming in there, and it's possible that they'll wink on anytime. They can wink on tomorrow. They can wink on 1,000,000 years from now. It all depends how the gravitational condensation of the cloud heats up the center. If it heats up the center to 15 million Celsius, well, then hydrogen in there could begin to fuse, and we have the beginnings of a star. In the stellar nursery, like say if we see the overall image, look at this beautiful. I'm only showing you a portion of it, as you can see. It looks like a tardigrade. Looks like a water baby. Yeah, I'm only showing you a portion of it, as you can see. So this is really pretty. I'm going to try and... Wow. It's got a little too much blue. I gotta just manually drop the blue a little bit. That's more like it. Now this is a region full of red, beautiful nebula, Again, here are our objects of interest here, the tadpoles. There they are. But in this view, they're far better because there's a lot more detail. And here's something we don't see in the other view. Look at this isolated little area right here. This is interesting because this isolated little area looks like it could be one of those condensing blobs that could eventually form some type of a stellar system, and that's really fascinating. These are dense areas of hydrogen gas that are being illuminated by these stars. I say illuminated, ionized by the hot ultraviolet radiation coming from these stars, and it's hitting the hydrogen and causing their electrons to pop off of the atom for a period of time, and then as they come back into the atom, they give off red light. Okay, same here. Okay, and it might be these two stars here that are actually causing that glow. I'm not sure. I haven't read any papers on this, but if you notice up in here, this beautiful dark area, this dark brown area, has lighter brown areas around it. Usually, you can't see those gradations of color in the imagery because we're looking at a very particular dark sky, and usually this is kind of lost. These subtle variations are lost, but this telescope and this camera are showing them very, very nicely. Okay, so we have 14 images stacked. You can see right there, 14, and we're gonna get to 15 here in a minute. So over here on the other side of the world, we have 10. We're gonna save this. I'm saving it in the wrong place, by the way, but I'll fix it later. Okay. Okay, good. Yeah. And stars are not quite in focus, but for this particular view, all right, if you zoom out, okay, this is the whole area. Look at that. Okay, and there's your beautiful little tadpoles. But that's what this telescope excels at, is showing you vast sections of space. This one shows you small, beautiful sections in very, very tight close-up. That's the most incredible thing I like about this telescope. Hey, Roy Batty's with us. Hey, man, how you doing, Roy? Haven't seen you for a while. Yeah. Oh, Gary asked me a question. You missed my previous question, which is easy to do. Why are they called tadpoles? Oh, you know what? It's simply because of their shape. If you look at them, they have like a fat head and the tail. You know, fat head and the tail. They're not really tadpoles. They obviously, and you knew that, of course. But it's just a name that sticks, just like we have, the Eagle Nebula. It's not an eagle, obviously. It's a stellar nursery, but it looks sort of like an eagle when pareidolia takes over and tries to make sense out of randomness in the sky. But that's why. Lots of detail in here. Let's go over here and let's turn on the unsharp mask. Let's get some extra detail. Wow. Okay, now that shows us even more detail. Look at this, the little streaks and everything showing up. Oh yeah, it's really, really good. Okay. Let's do this. I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna set the target name. All right, and I'm gonna come up here and then add tadpoles to it. All right, so that's good. I'll save the annotation so that if you want that, you can get it. Where do you get it? You know by now. SkyTourLive.org. You just head to SkyTourLive.org up there, and you can find out everything you need to know. Scroll down, and you'll see a location where you can go to get cool images, and this image itself will be there. How do I know? Because I'm going to make it happen right this second. So here I am saving it. Now, I just saved this image. Okay? Now, this image is now appearing after going through space and back down to our server, appearing on a server. And it's also going to my personal machine, believe it or not, from 2,600 miles away. So I have a backup. Okay. That's beautiful. Looks like Ilio's clone disintegrating. I haven't seen that movie yet. Don't be telling me stuff. Yeah. Gary is making friends with Roy Batty. Roy Batty, you may remember, is one of the main character in Blade Runner with Harrison Ford. You know, Tears in the Rain. He gave that famous speech, which is mostly ad-libbed. Okay, Roy. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. I'm glad you're here. We have a couple more things to check out. And Gary is going to bed. All right, man. Thanks for coming along. And you have a good evening. You must have to get up early tomorrow. Actually, so do I. Wow, this is really pretty. I'm going to save. There's 20 shots here. So there's the tadpoles. Okay, there we go. And then over here in the overall image of the location where the tadpoles are, we have this. I will save it. I will move it to the correct directory later on tomorrow. All right. That's beautiful. All right, so we'll come out of that. Go back to this. Get our low light mode set up. Okay. And then over in the other observatory, I think it's so funny. I'm shifting back and forth instantly, 220 miles at a clip. Okay. 21. I'll save this one more time. Save exactly as seen. All right. Nice. I'm liking that. Okay. You'll notice also that I'm taking slightly longer exposures in this telescope rather than this telescope. Okay, this is a faster photographic instrument. It's a wide field system. I can get in 25 seconds what takes 50 seconds or more, or a minute or more, way more, to get in this telescope. So it is performing very well, I have to admit. Okay. Now let's do something else that is going to be very, very exciting. And to do that, we're gonna come over here. That's east. I'm gonna go here. Oh, how far above the horizon are you? May not be far enough above. Let's find out. That's the rosette, but that's... We'll get to the rosette. The rosette is not high enough yet. Okay. That's just coming up. Oh, this isn't gonna work. This is still too low, guys. It's what I want is only about 14 degrees above the horizon. It needs to be 25 or so. Okay, we'll just have to wait till later in the season, I guess. But that is Betelgeuse, which is gonna go supernova soon. I hope it happens while we're around. Okay. And then this guy, you know, this is the Crab Nebula supernova remnant. I guess we could take a look at that. This is the only telescope I'll look at it with because the other telescope doesn't show this very brightly. But it's right here, I believe. Maybe. Let me make sure. Quick 10-second shot. I think that's it. See that little faint image right there? Let's find out. Yeah, that's it. Okay. This is neat. Okay, this is cool. I'm gonna drop our sensitivity down to 150 for this one. It's gonna reduce the noise that we see. And that's probably the best thing to do for this one. Alright, so that said, let's go back here. Grab a guide star. First of all, I'll do that. Okay. And then we'll grab our guide star. There we go. That's a good guide star. Nice. And we'll guide on that. Alright. Alright. And now, we're going to do a really cool photo of the Crab Nebula. It looks like our focus is pretty good here. Let's do another 45-second photo of this. Interesting thing about this supernova remnant is that, you know, we've observed it for over 100 years with cameras, and every time we've taken a photograph of it, we of course have those to look at historically. Well, over 100 years ago, the nebula was, say, this big. And then as time went on, it started getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And what we're actually seeing is the expansion of a supernova remnant moving outward. And that's exactly what's going on here. Alright, so we have 12 seconds until this image comes in. There it is. Wow. And that will... You can see the central neutron star right there. What's left over. This is one photo so far of many to go. Let's get some of our noise reduction done. Let's color correct. Okay. Okay. Yeah, we got some wind out there though. It's getting windy. The wind's driving us crazy, but it's all right. Let's see what's going on up there. Here's the night sky. Let's get a new cycle view. Here's Orion, the winter Milky Way. Okay. All right, so that's pretty cool. All right, I'm just adjusting a few things here. There we go. That's really good colors. That's what it should be. Gingas says galactic gemstone. Yeah, it kind of looks it. And Kate Lawler says pretty. Oh, I'm glad you joined us, Kate. And then let's see. Fred Phonebone. If you shoot high frame rate video, is it possible to see the pulsar winking on and off? Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, because it's going 33 times per second. So if you can do high frame rate video of 60 frames per second, you should be able to see the changing value of the pulsar, which is 33 times per second. Absolutely. And let's see, I had there was another question. Roy Batty asked, what's the word on 3D Atlas? Well, the other day when I streamed it, and some of the people here were there, I took several images of it, and then what I did was I animated them. And on my Facebook page, you can see my animation from the other day that I did, and you can actually watch the comet move through the sky over a 1 hour period. You actually see it moving from star to star, basically, in a straight line, of course. So it's cool. So it's still there, and there was a video that came out that was supposedly Avi Loeb, and I know Avi. We've worked on some shows together, And in this video, he claimed that Atlas has vanished. And I'm gonna make sure I didn't misunderstand what he was saying, but it didn't vanish. It didn't go at all. And the next morning, I actually went and captured it and made a lot of photos of it and made a video out of it. So it's still there. So I'm not sure what he was talking about, and hopefully I misunderstood his meaning. Now, if we come back to here and look, and we close in on this a little bit, okay, you can see the central star there. That's a neutron star right there. Okay, and there's another one right next to it. And that neutron star is all that's left of the star that once was here, that has been destroyed by the progenitor, the star that was behind all this and that made this happen. Pretty cool. And it happened, we know when this happened because there was an observation by Chinese astronomers in 1054 AD. And 1054 AD is when it was seen, and what they did was they saw another star in the sky. And that's exactly what this looked like. It was a view that this star, thousands of light years away, when it went supernova, it was so bright you could see it with your eye, even in daylight. So that's something that was pretty cool. Yeah. And Ronald is saying something, and I saw also Mr. Django. Hey, how you doing? Nice to see you. That's Stephen in Belgium. How you doing, Stephen? Good to see you here tonight. It's a nice day over there in Belgium. I'm sure it's morning for you now. And Radio, Ronald, he says, back in the day using a film camera, if it remained clear all night, we could get maybe 2 objects, and it would take several hours for one object. Yes, that's correct. I'm very good at that. I know that because I did it. When I was getting my degree in astronomy, I was taking photos. And back then, astronomers, and I say back then, I'm talking about 1980s, okay? We used glass plates with film emulsion, and we developed it ourselves. And so I would take glass plate photos of objects in the sky, and it was on relatively slow film. So right now we're taking 45-second shots of the Crab Nebula. I took one on a glass plate. You know how long it took to see it? It took me about 30 minutes to get one image of it, kind of as a fuzzy object. 30 minutes. To get Messier 80 M82, the exploding galaxy in Ursa Major, I exposed that one, which was relatively bright. I exposed that one for about 45 minutes, and that one I was able to get an interesting image of. Then, I don't even want to say this, I have to. Then, I dropped this glass plate, and they're very, very thin. So you might be thinking, oh, it shattered. No, it didn't actually. But it landed on the edge of the table, and I thought that I had escaped without danger because it landed on a soft blanket. I was like, oh, saved by the bell. I picked it up, I looked at the image, and Messier 82, the exploding galaxy, had one tiny pinprick right in the center of it. And that was where it struck the table. So the emulsion was scratched off. And so the object of interest in this entire plate was ruined. Yes, I have those plates in the back room here. They're actually of historic importance, to those of us that do astronomy. So it's good, pretty cool, pretty cool. So that's cool. Donald Kunzer said, I think he has Sid Barrett syndrome. The fame is going to his head. Oh, I think you must have been when I was talking about Avi Loeb. Okay. You know, I have to say, there's one thing that I did notice that I agreed with him about this, actually. Well, I should say that came out wrong. There's a lot of things I agree with Avi about on this 3i Atlas. It is one of the most strange comets we've ever seen. This is the third interstellar object we've seen. However, it's coming in on the plane of our solar system in a way. It's going to pass. It passed Mars, went around the sun, past Venus, and it's going to head on to pass Earth relatively close, which is 700 times the moon's distance. So it's going to be literally almost 2 astronomical units passing us. And then it's going to pass Jupiter on the way out. So it's passing 3 major planets as it comes through our solar system. And what are the chances of that happening? Well, they're about 0.005% that we'd get that type of trajectory coming through our solar system for an interstellar object. So that said, it's kind of interesting, isn't it? And that's why it's interesting. The other reason it's interesting is because it's made of different stuff than we thought comets were made of. Yes, it has lots of cometary stuff. It has carbon compounds. It has cyanogen compounds, which carbon and nitrogen atoms. It has carbon dioxide. It has water ice, carbon dioxide ice. It probably has other ices too, and stuff. But so it's made of stuff that comets are made of. But it showed an unprecedented amount of nickel atoms, and you're all familiar with that. You've heard the whole nickel thing. Why was it showing nickel atoms and no iron? Usually if you see nickel, you see iron. Well, again, it's interstellar. So one of the possibilities is that the nickel was bound up with carbon monoxide, a carbon and an oxygen atom together. And when it was bound up, when you had nickel carbonyl, which is nickel with 4 carbon monoxide molecules attached, that vaporizes at 100 degrees Fahrenheit, liberating the nickel atom, so it can be seen in the spectra. Iron, on the other hand, could have been bound up similarly with carbon monoxide. All right, again, carbon and oxygen atom. And that could have been bound up in a compound known as iron pentacarbonyl. All right, that's 5 carbonyl groups, 5 carbonyl groups, which are the CO groups, and that doesn't vaporize and liberate the iron atom until 200 degrees Fahrenheit. And sure enough, as this object got closer to the sun, what once was a lot of nickel started to be joined by iron atoms. And it actually showed us and showcased that maybe there's a lot we don't understand about comets, without a doubt. I'm gonna label this, set the target name, save annotations. Here we go. All right, and then I will save it. 18 exposures is good. Save exactly as seen. Here we go. Okay. And let's go see one last time if my object of interest that I'd like to show you is up high enough. I don't think it is. And that's unfortunate. Well, yeah, okay, so let me back out of this a little bit. Come down here. Yeah, it's not high enough yet. I'm sorry, guys, but won't be able to see it yet. But you know how it is. You keep them waiting, right? You learn to keep them waiting. All right. We'll go for one last object, and it's going to be up here. These are the Pleiades. All right, and what's really good about the Pleiades is there's a lot of dust around these stars, especially around the star Merope. And Merope has a really interesting, look to this material. So I will show you. So we're in the Pleiades now. And let's see. All right, so we're gonna say this and that, and we'll see Merope appear right in the middle of the frame. There it is. So there is Merope. Merope is one of the stars in the Pleiades, and when we look at it, we're going to notice something strange about it. Now, first things first, I'm going to just do a 12-second shot because I just want to do a placement. I think I'm upside down, so I have to figure out what side of the star I want to move to. So I'll do that in about 1 second. Okay, good. So what I'll do is I'm going to move us down a little bit. All right, there we go. Let's move it down a little bit. All right, there we are. Okay. Now let's set our guiding system on fire here and tell it to go guide away. It's going to be well, if there's no wind, it'll hold that star well. Okay. And this is going to be cool. So at the same time, I'm wondering, let me come over here and start this off here. We're going to go and do a 45-second photo of this, and then we'll go into our deep sky mode and set the live stack in place. And meanwhile, we're going to come over to this telescope. Remember this guy? And let's go see if we can do the same thing with this one. But in this one, we will see the whole Pleiades, because again, we're a wide field system. The Pleiades are M45. So we're way up there. Let's go here. Yeah, we can just go anywhere in here. Oh yeah. So let's do it. We're gonna do that and see where it goes. Okay, telescope is moving. And you're gonna see the Pleiades show up in here. There they are. You got the whole family. Alright. And it really looks pretty in here, I'll tell you that. Now, one thing we'll do is we're going to see how it looks fuzzy around some of the stars. That's because of the fact that the stars are actually surrounded by nebulosity and so forth, and that's really interesting. Okay, this star here is Alcyone. This is Pleione and Atlas. Here's Merope. Let's move to the west a little bit. There's over 1,000 stars in the Pleiades family of stars. Okay. And it's really high up in our sky right now. Alicia. Your degree is older than me. Thanks, Alicia. That's just so special. But I have lots of knowledge. And I'm not afraid to take the leap to speculate on stuff, which I think is pretty cool. All right, so now what I'm going to do, okay, we have this here. All right, there they are. There's the Pleiades. All right, and we are searching for a guide star. That'll take no time at all. All right, we already got it. Now we're going to do a 25-second photo here. Now we're going to get halos around the bright stars here. All right, but let's do this. So it's underway. Okay, and we're going to come out of here, go into our live stack. Meanwhile, we're going to come back over here. Hey, look at that. What is this? Well, that is the Merope Nebula around Merope, and that's the dust, which is really incredible. So you have the star, and then you have this beautiful swath of dust around there, which is just amazing, which I think you guys can see pretty clearly. You know, wow, that's nice. Very nice, very nice. Yep. All right, let's see if we can color correct this. Hang on a sec. That's beautiful. You can see how that beautiful dust is very, really stark and blue. That's the correct color right there. And what's happening is the Pleiades, the 1,000 stars that make up that whole cluster, it's traveling through dust. It wasn't made in this dust. It's actually going through the galaxy, and that cluster is passing through the dust. How do we even know that? Because we can track the dust cloud. We can see which way the dust is moving. And the dust and the stars are moving in two different directions, so they're passing each other and passing through each other. So it's just a temporary situation. Isn't that crazy? Now the whole thing looks like this from the outside. Okay, this is what it looks like, and if we darken our background here a little bit, here is the star we're looking at. Okay, when we're looking over here, all right, notice that Merope here has some of that kind of streaked look to it, but not a lot. To see that detail, we have to be looking here at much more detail, and that's just what we're doing. So let's actually put the contrast in there. Look at that. These are streaks and swaths of dust. Much of it probably left by supernovas in the distant past. Isn't that cool? Yeah. Yeah, there it is. Look at that. Wow. That's just beautiful. And I'm just going to call this Merope. And in the other one too, I'm going to call it Merope. So it'll end up in the same directory. So we have 9 we've taken. I'll take one more. But let's go over here. Yeah, so you see the halos. Those are caused by, of course, the the very, very bright stars. Look at all that dust. That's a lot of dust. And the stars are passing through it. One thing to see too is over here, we look at Merope, we can see there's this object right here. It's got a little interesting, like a comet tail, and it's very, very brightly lit. What is that? Well, that's an area of dust in here that's actually being eroded most likely by this star. And it's blowing it away. It's blowing away a blast wave of material as it's passing by it. Isn't that something? It is, Sally. It is beautiful, just like you said. Pistachio. And Sally Force says, dude, if I lived by you, I'd be knocking on your door every night. Like, where you going? Where we going? Oh, heck, Sally, yeah, we're checking out all of the night sky. Yep. All right, let's color correct. Yeah. Yeah, that's something. That's just beautiful. We've got 11. I'll go to 12. And this is what it looks like. What a messy sky, huh? What a messy sky. Wow. Okay, so let's color correct that. Just a beautiful an unbelievable amount of stuff in the universe. So again, this star right here, you can see that sweeping material right there, which this stuff right here. Let me bring in my microfonio. Okay, so this stuff right here, that stuff right there, okay, and that streak, right, that is what we're seeing here. This is that streak, okay, and that object right there, that really, really difficult to see one, is completely invisible over here. We can't actually see that here, but that's where it is. It goes right there, you know, right there on the top. We can't show it because it is lost with the small or the wide angle view. That's something, isn't it? Indeed it is. Let's go back over. There we go. Amazing. Okay, 13. Save exactly a scene. And then over in here, this is the first Pleiades shot of the year. We'll save it. All right. And then I will oh, it's interesting. Okay, this one here, it was having trouble stacking and it didn't do it. Can't say why, 'cause, oh, I know why. I'm an idiot as before. Oh, so close. All right, now it's going to work fine. I had a bad setting, my fault. So our Pleiades shot has been all red, but it'll have a green right here now. There it is. Okay. Yes. Hey, Benjamin Ursa Major, what's up? Oh, Michael Hedrick, thank you for the compliments. It's very nice. Benjamin, yeah. Seven Sisters, Pleiades. And a close-up of this star right here is here. This is Merope as seen in our narrow field system at the same time as we're showcasing this one. Very cool. Hello there, Liza Tilda Vaughn. I'm curious about how your telescope are maintained. Does someone have to physically set up for you before you use, or is it automated? How does maintenance and cleaning happen? I really would gotta tell you. All right, I spent 2 years figuring out how to do this stuff remotely. So there's nobody at either observatory. Okay, this telescope is unmanned. You can see the telescopes up there. I can look at them with our security camera. I can move them around. Okay, like for instance, if I come up here, right, this view right here is showing you the view from inside the observatory, looking toward the eastern wall. And that doesn't mean much to you until I actually show you. So I'll do that. Why not? We're waiting for this picture to get more images anyway. Okay, so this view right here that you're looking at, right here, right above me, okay, that is this telescope view from here. So there's our pier, okay. There's the door to go into the building right there. So the telescope is on a pier that's 64 inches tall, and it's looking up into the sky right now, and there's so many stars that they show up on our security cam. It's really nice. All right, and that's this telescope view, and the other one that we have is this one. Okay, this is the view looking up into our skies. I move up here, you'll see something kind of familiar right there. You see right here, let's see, do you see, let's see right here, let me go over here. Do you see there's Orion right there? There's the belt, there's the nebula, and there's Betelgeuse. There is Bellatrix, there's Rigel, and there's Saiph. So there's Orion the Hunter there. Still low to the horizon. That's Sirius, the dog star, rising right there. Okay. Neato. And we actually have sound that we can hear and look at out there, do all that stuff. So if I look to the right here, you'll see something else interesting. And that is, that's another telescope. Because there's another, this mountain top is a bunch of professional astronomers, and we're all doing our own work. I do outreach astronomy. This particular guy is doing photometry, which is the study of brightness of stars. And the guy past him is doing his own work and so forth and so on. And then to the right of all that, okay, is another mountain. Now, see, those lights look bright, don't they? But they're not. You can barely see them with your eye, literally. So the sensitive camera makes it look worse. And here, you're seeing a dome on top of the hill out there. And there's a 20-inch telescope in there. And right next to this building up here is a 30 by 30 foot building, and the entire roof rolls off. And they study the geosynchronous satellites, the geostationary birds, which is really cool. Okay, so there we are, and at this point, so that's the little tour of this observatory. This telescope, well, I've got to move my butt out of the way here. You can see the view looking in out of that two different cameras here. Much more simple technology out there. I don't have the pan and tilt systems out here that I had in the other telescope. And that's because we don't have the Wi-Fi access properly out there. But it's Starlink delivering the internet to us in both places. So we can't complain about that. Wow. Okay, now in this one, we managed to get a whole bunch of additional images. So that's good. So now if I color correct, yeah, that's better. We're getting a little more, getting a little bit more, yeah, that's more what it looks like right there. Look at all that dust. The halos again, artifacts. This is the star Maya, and Maya has its own nebula associated with it here. We can see that on this. Okay, here's Merope's nebula. It's really shining in nicely. Okay, and we see it, of course, when we go to the other telescope, and there it is. Right here is Merope's nebula. All right, but we see details in the Merope nebula we just can't see in the other place, in the other one. So that's interesting. Another night we'll do the Maya nebula up here, which is right there. We'll do that and catch its details. Really cool. Wow. So I think that's a pretty good night, right? So let me just save this. Save it exactly as seen and make that available to you. That will be available. All right, and then this one here, we're also gonna save. All right, so we'll save this when we have 25 frames here. Perfect. Save exactly as seen. Oh yeah. Now here's the thing. For those of you that haven't joined us, it's all free. You can just subscribe to the channel. Love to have you. If you're interested in Christmas presents, we do have t-shirts. The t-shirts are really cool. I think I've shown the t-shirts in previous streams, but basically it's a t-shirt on the front that says skytourlive.org on the front, and on the back it shows a ring of all the planets, including Pluto, because Pluto's a planet in my view, and it says I need my space in the middle of them all, and it's really pretty. It's a beautiful fabric. Just ask the people in the chat who have them, and they'll tell you it's a really nice fit. So Stephen Smet says, Mark, how many kilometers is it from home the observer? I mean, from where I am controlling the telescopes to where the telescopes are? We're talking about 2,600 miles. This is over 2,600 miles from me, this telescope, and this one is just a little bit more. This one's 2,400 and change. This one's 2,600. Okay, so it's a couple thousand miles each, you know. So that's neat. Yeah, and I spent a bunch of years figuring out how that all works and how to get it going. So, all right, folks. Well, look, I hope you had a good time tonight. I did. This was fun. And I'm glad we got to see some of the winter constellations. We're going to hang out in Orion quite a lot. There's a lot to see there. You know, Roy Batty says Pluto's a planet. Nobody can tell me different. That's right. I've told you this all before. I knew Clyde Tombaugh, the guy who found Pluto. I met him. We were at an astronomy conference together. And I sat with him. We were outside and we sat on the grass and just talked about his work and everything. He's not an astronomer, you know. He passed a long time ago. But he's not an astronomer. He was actually a worker at the observatory. I thought that was pretty cool. you know. And they just let him have time on the telescopes, and he used it very productively. So you see, you don't have to be an astronomer with a degree, right, to actually contribute. And it's actually meeting guys like Clyde that made me go into outreach astronomy, because when I looked at all the things that people have questions about in astronomy, I always realized that, you know, I may know these things because I'm just immersed in it, because I'm a nerd. Okay, I'm a geek and a nerd. All right, and well, the proof is right here. Look, I've got my really nerdy glasses. See, nerd glasses. But but that said, not everybody has that. So to me, there's never a stupid question. You know, it's just interest. That's interest. I don't ever see things as a stupid question. That's arrogance to do that. So I try to be really, you know, cognizant of that, you know. Now we have a random question from Michael Hedrick. If the moon was blown apart by an asteroid, would it be in a line of debris like on the newest Time Machine movie? I didn't see the newest Time Machine movie. Who was in that? If there was another one made, I gotta see it. I remember the one from the 50s or 60s or whatever. And I think there was one later. Yeah. Oh, wait. Mr. Django, did I get your question wrong? M2? You wanted to know how far we are from M2? Oh, I didn't look at how many thousands or tens of thousands of light years M2 is. I'm sorry. If that was your question, I mistook it. Sorry about that. Hey, hope you guys had a good time. I'm gonna call it a night. It's just after midnight here. I can't believe that I'm gonna be able to get to bed at some relatively early hour. And then what I'll do is I'll alert you when I'm going to look at 3i Atlas again. All right? And so we'll see 3i Atlas as well. Wow, this is a good night. You know, I just can't seem to stop talking, but that's me. Every last drop of my Thai tea is gone. Anyway, Steven says, no, me too. I'm wearing nerd glasses. Okay. Thank you, guys. All right. Well, you guys have a good night, okay? And we'll be back the very next time. So see you later, everybody. I will save all these one more time. And then, again, go here, skytourlive.org. If you like what you see, hey, you can donate to us. Give us a Christmas present. Donate to us in our web portal there. It says there's a donate button. We'd love to hear from you. And if you want a shirt, $25 donation gets you a shirt, and we'll get you the shirt. We've had several people buy shirts from our streams, and they've received them right away because we send them out right away. They're great Christmas presents. And if you want even more, well, then what you do is you go to Sky Tour Shop on Etsy up there. All right. And Sky Tour Shop has dozens of different, of our images on everything from mouse pads to mugs to water bottles to blankets to sneakers, no lie, boxer shorts, I know, but true. Yeah, and they're all pictures we took with Sky Tour Livestream, and all of it goes to support what we do. I mean, I don't take a salary for this, I do it because I love doing it, but we really need to make a subscription push. I'd love to have more people in the Patreon. I'd love to have more people just subscribe to us, We need, I don't know, 100,000 subscribers. Is that too much to ask? We have about 10,000 now. I'd like to have more. because that actually helps us. Because the more people we have, the better I can actually provide service. Because then we have Patreon members and donations that will help keep us going. Because I don't, we do that too. And Sally Forth says, model the boxers? Yeah, no. That's funny. Oh yeah, Radio says, I want a shirt. Marion was supposed to bring one. Yeah, you have a shirt coming, Ronald, because of your donations to us, of course. So we'll get you one. Yep. All right, well, guys, you have a good evening. I'm gonna head upstairs, stoke my wood stove because it's about 20 degrees outside here in Connecticut. Whereas it's, well, Ronald will tell you, he's in Benson, he knows the temperature. It gets down to as low as 32 degrees in the morning out there. Jeez. 70 for a high, 75. All right, guys. I better go before I say bad things. I'm only kidding. All right, guys. Good night. Have a pleasant tomorrow, and we'll talk soon. So long, everybody.
Stars so bright in the sky, on Arizona nights they fly. Nebulae in colors rare, galaxies beyond compare. Sky tour in the night so clear, brings the universe near. Real-time wonders to see, streaming live for you and me. Lift your eyes to the skies, universe in all its light. Sky tours bringing the views. Every night feels brand new. In the dark, the night unfolds, stories of the cosmos told. Through the lens, a distant dream, living real like a gleam. Far away, up so high, across the stars beyond the skull. Through the lens, a distant dream, living real like a gleam. Lift your eye up so high, across the stars beyond the sky. Sky tour shows us the way, every night a new display. Lift your eyes to the skies, universe in all its light. Sky tours bringing the views. Every night feels brand new. Lift your eyes to the skies, universe in all its light. Sky tours bringing the views. Every night feels brand